Hey there, everybody. It is Saturday night, about 5 minutes to 11 Eastern Standard Time here in the Icelandic world of Cleveland, Ohio. And I do say Icelandic because it's going to be cold and it's going down in the 40s. And just yesterday it was 89. It's this time of year here in Ohio, it's schizophrenic. The weather's schizophrenic. So I wanted to just kind of get this off my chest. I think the people in the world have become crazy assholes. It's weird, and I don't know if I don't even know how to categorize it or to verbalize it. But a couple weeks ago, we get into my wife's car and we're driving home, and the check engine light comes on. Now my wife's car is, oh, I think it's like 8 years old, but it's only got like 37,000 miles on it because she hasn't driven to work in like 6 years. They started to work from home at her other company before the pandemic, and her new company she works from home. So she never drives and a variety of other things. So the car is low mileage on it. So we take the car into the dealership and make an appointment for it. They agreed to bring it in this last week. So it took about 3 weeks to get in there. So I get in there this last like Tuesday or something. I go in and they tell me that the car is on recall. There's a recall, not a recall, but I know what you call it, where there's something that they found in this model and year of car, or there's some type of fix that they found that all the cars have to be fixed, some type of recall thing, or I don't remember what you call it. But it turns out there's something wrong with like the switch on the steering column that turns the headlights on and off. And I'm like, hey, they're like, do you want me to fix that? I'm like, yeah, sure, I did. There's nothing wrong with hers, but if you need to fix it, let's do it. So I'm there for like 2 hours. I mean, this is, the check engine light thing. So the guy comes up and says, okay, we got it fixed. Turns out we just needed to replace your gas cap. Now I checked the gas cap on the car. We had just had the car in to the state for the emissions test, and he found nothing wrong with the car. The car passed the emissions. He put the gas cap on that night. I rechecked the gas cap to make sure he put it on. It was on fine. There were no problems with the car, nothing. So there's some type of EVAP thing that had to be replaced to fix the check engine light. I took it to AutoZone. They did a check on it. AutoZone checked it before I took it in. So they fixed that allegedly. And I get in the car. It's broad daylight, so I don't turn the headlights on in daylight. And so I get home, and maybe I had the headlights on auto. Maybe they're already on auto, so they shut off when the engine's off for a couple seconds. But I get home and I go to turn off the very switch that they said they had just fixed, which turns the headlights on and off. And I couldn't move the switch. It wouldn't rotate. It was jammed, completely jammed. And I had to, I'm sitting there and I'm trying to turn this thing with all my might, and the thing wouldn't turn. So I call the shop and I say, hey, I just got home and the very thing you just fixed doesn't work. The headlights, I can't get the headlights to turn on or turn off. And the girl's like, oh, gee, I'm really sorry. Oh, gee, Willikers, Beeve. Gee, Willikers, I'll get somebody to call you back. And, right now the service department's really busy. Oh, yeah, okay. And when I was there, they were pretty busy. They were really busy. He said, and when I talked to the guy at the counter, he said, you should see it when it is really busy. He said, there's standing room only in this little tiny break room, which it was pretty busy today. There's at least 10 to 15 people of us waiting. And, I'm a kind of person who doesn't trust auto mechanics. Most of us don't trust auto mechanics and dealerships, but this is the dealership we took it to. So while I'm on the phone with the girl, I like wrenched the thing really quick, and all of a sudden the switch worked. I just had to really turn it like really hard, and the lights went out. So I'm like, okay. So that was like a few days ago. We get in the car today we get in my wife's car to take her. I'm taking her out with my mother-in-law for her birthday. And I go to turn on the headlights, and I turn it on, not to auto, but just to on, so everything's on and nothing comes on. The lights don't come on. Like, what the heck? What the fuck's going on? You just think the lights don't come on at all. I turn it to where you can just turn on the parking lights don't come on. But if I put it on auto, it turns on. All the lights turn on auto. And in the dark, only in the dark, right? So I'm thinking to myself, okay, my headlights and the light switch was working fine prior to taking it in. So I take it in, they tell me they got to fix it because of this recall on this part, right? What do? They broke it. What they were supposed to fix that wasn't broken, they broke. So I'm thinking to myself as we're driving to dinner, I said, so this means that the genius that worked on my car, the mental midget that worked on my car or my wife's car, they quote, fixed, unquote, the recall. And I don't know what they did. Did they get back in the car and even try to see if the light for the headlights worked? No, they didn't even bother. They didn't even try to because the thing couldn't turn. You couldn't even turn it. These are little switches. This at the end of the turn signal arm. You just turn it like that. It moves like easy as butter, melted butter. This time you had to I had to go and like turn it until it finally turned. So, in other words, I don't know if they did anything, or did they just replace the turn signal arm on my wife's car with one that was already broken and put it on my wife's car? But nobody quality checked it. Nobody quality control checked it. Nobody said, oh, you know what? Maybe we better check and make sure we really fix it. Let's see if the white lights work in every notch, like on, auto, parking lights, and off. Let's go through each stage and see if it works. Nobody did that. The geniuses that work in the auto mechanics garage. This is a dealership. And the dealerships I know are hurting big time. Nobody's selling cars, used or new, especially new. Nobody can afford a car anymore. Cars are just like almost as expensive as a house in some places. I mean, maybe not quite, but some of these fancy cars are $150,000. And that's not even the top of the line cars. I mean, you're talking about a Cadillac Escalade, a Chevy Tahoe. These are some expensive pieces of crap. So nobody quality checked it. So when I wrenched it, when I was on the phone with the young lady, it came on, but it was only a good an auto, and I didn't realize it till we got in the car today. So what this means is now I've got to make another trip to the auto dealer because some asshat in a dealership who probably isn't overseen by anybody, just maybe somebody's maybe just a fart smarter than him. Now I've got to go back and have them go, hey, look, the the headlight switch doesn't work. We need headlights on this car. So today we're driving. We go to this restaurant, and we have dinner. We have a nice dinner, and we're leaving the restaurant with my mother-in-law, who's older and she's not mobile and she's got a cane. And we walk out of the front door. Our car was parked 3 spaces from the front door. And there's a group of people standing by the front of my wife's car, young people, maybe 25 at most, a man and 3 women, and one of these little bitches, this fat-ass little Italian girl, was leaning on my wife's car with her fat ass on the front right headlight. So, I'm with my wife, I'm with my mother-in-law, and I'm like, okay. I sound the horn on the car. I beep it twice. The girl doesn't even blink. She doesn't even budge. She doesn't even jump or twitch. Like, oh, hey, I'm on this guy's car, And I'm thinking, okay, so tonight I took the gun with me. I took my 9mm with me, but it's in the car, locked in a glove compartment, because you can't take your gun inside establishments to serve alcohol. And I'm thinking, okay, are we about to get jumped? Because it's just a bunch of young kids. They don't look threatening, but you can never tell these days. And they're wearing shorts and cutoffs, and, the girl leaning on the car was wearing these jeans. But it was kind of warm today. It was about 70 during the day. And I'm like, well, what do I do here? So the girl doesn't move. And I say, do you mind? I say it like that. And the guy's like 6'5". He goes, "Oh my God, I'm really sorry, sir." He was really embarrassed. You could see his face turned red. And the girl goes like, "Ah." And she gets up her fat Italian ass off of my car. And I say she's Italian because she was one of these little Italian bitches that has all this attitude. And I've known lots of Italian women, and they all got this attitude about them. Like, they're the shit, they don't stink. And so she begrudgingly moves her big ass off of my wife's car and moves. Not in any hurry. We're trying to navigate through these fuckers with my elderly my mother-in-law. She's older and she can't walk and she's having a hard time with her back. Like I'm troubling them. I'm troubling them or something. And and we were all talking about it in the car. And we were all, I'm in my 50s. My wife is younger than me. She's about 7 years younger than me. My mother-in-law, who's, she's older. She's a lot older. We're talking about how people have changed. How people just don't care anymore. People just they don't seem to have any empathy, sympathy, care in the world for anybody but themselves. It's the truth, and I see it everywhere. We see it everywhere. You should have seen this restaurant tonight. The food was decent, but we walked in, and this place was in chaos. It was in chaos. This is a major restaurant chain here in Cleveland. I don't know if it's a national chain, but there are probably at least 100 people having dinner. At least. People at the bar. We had reservations. We walk in, the girl seats us. And we sat there with our menus for a good at least 10 minutes. And we're looking around and we're like, well, is anybody ever going to come up and ask us for our drinks or anything? No, I'm not one of these old farts that's a real stickler about how quickly the waitress comes up and kisses our ass or anything. I've worked in restaurants. I know how hard it is. It's just as bad, in some cases worse, than call center work, because you're on your feet, you're face to face with asshole customers. They're telling you the food just sucks, that their hamburger's cold or whatever, and they all act like you got to come and service them orally. So we wait, and I see a waitress. She starts to walk past her table. I said, "Excuse me." She's like, "Yeah." And I said, "We've been here about 10 minutes and we haven't had anybody talk to us yet." She's like, "Oh my God, I'm really sorry." And she stopped everything and she waited on us. And then she left. We gave her our drink orders. Nothing, it was a Coke. I had a glass of water, and my wife had non-alcoholic wine. So she leaves, and she's gone for like 10 minutes. She's a nice girl, and she was kind enough to take our order and wait on us eventually. She ended up being a good waitress, but another waitress came up to us and said, "I'm sorry, has anybody waited on you yet?" And I said, "Yeah, the girl came, but she has never come back." And then just as I said that, she came back. So we have dinner, and while we're having dinner, a waitress in the middle of the restaurant is having a hissy fit. A waitress, this is a grown woman, probably 30-year-old woman, is mad because the manager wants her to take another table. She's like, "I am not taking table 15. There is no way I'm taking table 15. And she huffs out of the restaurant. She goes into the kitchen or someplace. She goes back and, I don't know, humps a cucumber or something. I don't know what she's doing. And this is like restaurant 101. If you have a problem with what's going on the floor, you don't show the customers that you're having a bad day. You just don't take it out on the floor. You go back in the kitchen and you scream into the soup, or you smack the chef around, whatever you do. You just don't show it on the floor. It's the same with the call centers. You don't let the customers know you can't stand them or you hate them or you're upset. But this woman was completely beside herself. And I'm like, and these are young people. These are people 20, 25 years younger than me. And my wife notices it. My mother-in-law notices it. And I'm thinking, what? You know, okay, I've worked in restaurants. I wasn't a waiter unless they got so busy they would take me away from the hosting position. I was a host in a restaurant, and I would go out and wait on small tables. They give me like a table of one or two people, and I would take their order, and it was no big deal. But it happened once in a blue moon. But this girl was unprofessional, spoiled, just I just I can't even, I've never seen that in a restaurant before. And I've been in thousands of restaurants in multiple states. I've probably been to half the states in the country and eaten half of them. And is everybody just become a crazy asshole in this country? I mean, I'm kind of going back and forth because I have us leaving, but I'm back in the restaurant. So we leave, we finish our meal. The girl recovers. Our waitress is great. She's very good. She's very polite. She checks on us. She recovers nicely. She's very busy. She keeps her cool. She's handling multiple people, large tables bigger than us, like 5, 10 people. Just three of us at dinner. We get up to leave, and there's no way to get out because the tables are so close to each other. There's a good thing and a bad thing here. I look in front of me because I'm trying to guide and navigate my mother-in-law out of the restaurant. And there's a table directly in front of me, and a lady looks at me, and her chair is in the way. She does nothing. She just sits on her white fat ass and just continues to stuff her face with food, and I hope she dies of coronary disease. And then all these other people, this is the nice part, they like see we're trying to get out, and my mother-in-law's having trouble walking. And these people got out of the way. The lady moved her purse, they got up, they got out of their way. But it was a nice thing. But and so these people were probably our age. The fat ass that wouldn't move her doughy white ass was some young, sweet young thing. One of these snobby little bitches that's Gen whatever. Gen X, Gen Jupiter, Gen whatever they call it, are younger than me. That all think they don't have to work and don't have to pay their student loans back. So these nice people do get out of our way, and they make sure we can get out, and they're like, oh, can we help you, and like so on and so forth. And we're walking out, and I notice that the floor in this restaurant's tile, it's hard tile, is covered in grease. This is a top-notch restaurant, not top-notch. This is not like we're dining at a really like a 5-star restaurant. This is like a middle of the road place, but it's a nice place. It's kind of like Cheesecake Factory, but it wasn't Cheesecake Factory. The floor is covered with a fine layer of grease everywhere you stepped that I didn't notice when we came in, but as I'm walking, I'm slipping. My feet are slipping. And I'm like, what the heck? And it was the strangest thing. I mean, it was dirty. It was dirty. And I'm like, well, how did this floor at a nice restaurant get greasy? All over the place. This wasn't just in one area. We had to walk probably 75 feet from our table to the front door. And we navigated like in an S shape. And all the way up to the very front of the door, it was covered with grease. And they don't have like flambe and stuff like that in there. And I'm trying to think, there was another good thing. And what was the good thing? Somebody helped my mother-in-law, and I'm trying to remember who it was. Where were we? Let's see, we left the house. We got when we got to the restaurant, a woman who was parked next to us saw that my mother-in-law was having trouble moving, and she helped her get into the restaurant or get out of the car and get up onto the curb because there was a curb that she had to step over. But I don't know. See, this is where I get confused. People will say, well, just focus on the positive things. Just focus on the positive things and become more positive thinking and all that stuff, right? But I don't understand that because what I'm seeing, and I'm just the old guy, the old whiny white fart screaming at the clouds, right? What I'm seeing in this world is there's very few and far between good acts these days. There's more rude people. There's more people that just are losing it. There's more crazy people. I've never seen waitresses lose it in front of the customers in a restaurant. And I'm talking about when I was a kid, my friends and I used to go into this restaurant at this pizza place in my hometown, and we didn't like the waitress, and we always give her trouble. And even all the hassles that we gave her, she was always a good sport about it. She didn't come over and try to kick us out or anything like that. And we were what, 15, 16 years old or something like that. We're just little assholes. But I guess maybe I just got to focus on the lady to help my mother-in-law out of the car, and the polite people that got out of her way, and the waitress that took over. But there were those few people that seem to stand out in my mind as just people that there's more people like that today. We There's fireworks here tonight. Fireworks. What is it? May 17th, May 16th? The holiday is until next weekend. Why are there fireworks tonight at 11:15 at night? So a couple months ago, we need a new roof. We have a shingled roof, and our neighbor recommended this guy that worked in his roof, right? So we call this company. They send out this guy that is like the owner or something. A real nice man. He goes up on a roof. He makes some quick repairs because we had a leak around one of our vent pipes. He fixed that for us. He comes down. He gives us a quote. And we say, we'll give you a call, because we hadn't decided whether we could afford it or not. And the quote he gave us was pretty steep. It was like, he said $15,000 to $18,000 to get a roof replaced. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money for a roof. And he goes, well, you got a big roof, you got a lot of, yeah, we've got an answer for it. Well, So I say to the guy, I said, I've seen a lot of these roofers come around here, and they've all got illegals working on the roofs. They've got Guatemalans, they've got Mexicans, undocumented people, more than likely, because there's not a lot of Guatemalans and Mexicans here in Cleveland. There are on the near west side, but we live a good ways away from there. And he kind of pauses and he looks at me and he goes, no, 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 this is all owned. We're all owned, family operated, stuff like that. And I have a reason why I don't want undocumented illegals working in my house, is because they're not dedicated to their craft. They're just people that they pulled off the corner. They piled into a truck and came to work on somebody's house. Now, I'll give you an example. We had our windows replaced in the house about 7 years ago. And the window in my studio, when it gets humid outside, it fogs up, meaning the seal on the window is busted. And they had this whole crew I know they were Guatemalans, because I met the foreman, and he was Guatemalan, and we spoke, and he said, oh, yeah, 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 he said, oh, I'm a citizen, but my family's in Guatemala. And we had this long talk about his heritage, and I'm like, okay. And all the guys running around my yard were not white. Not that that's a big deal, but he told me most of them were Guatemalan or Mexican. I'm like, oh, okay. So the window in my studio was never installed correctly. So I called the guys, and they said, well, that's probably just because there's more humidity in that room, is what they said. I'm like, no, you guys installed it wrong. So he didn't want to come back out and look at it. So I put a bad review of them on Facebook. I said, Larry, Curly, and Mo showed up at my house and installed bad windows. And the guy calls me, oh, take that down, take that down. I'll fix it, I'll fix it, I'll fix it. I'll do anything for you, buddy. And I'm like, okay. And so he comes out with a whole new window. He puts it in. I thank him and shake his hand and say, hey, no big deal. Next week, humid day, the windows fog up. The whole window fogs up. Not all the windows. All the other windows in the house are fine, except this one window in my studio. So when the windows fog up, I can't see out. Like at night, if air conditioning's on in here and it's humid outside, you can't see out this window at all, top or bottom. It's one of these, I don't know what you call them. It's a dual pane window where the bottom part slides up. So I bitch and want to complain. He comes out, he replaces the window again, and it still fogs up. So I say, dude, I'll give you one more chance. Just come out and fix it. And he keeps sending the same Guatemalan Mexican crew out here. And they do it a third time. And I make sure that they just don't replace the window with the one they took out before, because I've marked the windows now. I started marking the windows to make sure they haven't just taken the old one out, put it in the warehouse, and brought back the old one. So they finally, well, I thought they had fixed it, but now what happens is the top window fogs up, but the bottom one stays clear. At this point, I've given up. And it's like nobody can do anything anymore. Nobody can quality check. They're just looking for the quickest, cheapest way to run a business. They're hiring illegals all over the place just to make sure their roofing gets done. But my point to this roofer guy is, so we called him. We decided to hire them because we had a neighbor that vowed they were great. So we called this guy back to do the roof, to hire him, and we can't get him to do it. He hasn't agreed to it. And I don't know who I'm speaking with. I've called. We've sent messages to them for 3 or 4 weeks now. Nothing. Nothing. And maybe it's because I said I wanted it all. I want it, if we're going to have people that are Mexican and Guatemalan crawling around my roof, I want to make sure they're legal. I'm sorry. Whether you like it or not, I don't like people here illegally. I just don't. And ask the people in Great Britain, they don't like it either. I don't like it. If you want to come to this country, do it the way my ancestors did, on the boat, legally documented. We all did it that way. Scottish, English, Welsh. We all came over on the boat through Ellis Island. Ladies and gentlemen at the border, pack it up, go back home, and do it legally. I don't care. That's my belief. I don't care what you say about it. It's not racist. It's the law. And I don't want them crawling up on my roof if they're not legal. I don't need, I don't need INS and Homeland Security showing up at my house saying, what are you doing with those illegals on your roof, And so I think maybe I sabotage myself, and this guy doesn't want to work with me because he lied. He goes, this is his selling point. He said, well, it's family owned and operated. No, it's all people that are here. He goes, we only hire people that are dedicated roofers that do this as a career. This is their life. I'm like, okay. And he goes, to top it off, we don't use nail guns. We use hammers, because hammers get the nail head into the roofing tile better. Nail guns aren't that good, and sometimes the nail guns leave a little gap and the water gets in, your roof will leak again. I'm like, okay, I never thought about that, but that's kind of a weird thing to mention to me. I have never, ever in 20 years seen people putting roofs on with hammers. They all use the nail guns, but okay. So we can't get him to come on board. And it's just really weird these days. People say they're hurting for business. They can't find employees. They can't find anybody to come work for them. Nobody works in the trades anymore. And then when you go to hire somebody that's obviously hiring, they won't take your money. They won't take your money. My money's not green enough because I guess I want legally documented people working on my roof. I don't want illegal Guatemalans. And the reason isn't racist. It's because I want people that really know what they're doing. I don't want some guy that was just standing on the corner drinking tequila a couple of minutes ago, crawling up my roof going, hey, look at me, I got the hammer, Woohoo, got the hammer. I don't know, man. And these are the things that make me not want to deal with people anymore. I just don't. I just don't. We went to a farmer's market today, an outdoor farmer's market, and you go up to these people that are trying to make a living selling their shit on a table under a tent, right? We went to see a couple of my friends. They're great. But some of these people, the thing you've got to remember, if you're an artist or you're a craftsman or you're one of these people that make food and you're trying to sell your honey or your cookies or your brownies, you've got to talk to people That's a key thing you've got to do at these art shows, is to be able to talk to people and be polite and friendly and interesting. But most of these people, you walk up to them and you go, hi, and they're like, huh? Hi. Like this lady today, I was going to buy honey from her. I ended up buying honey from her because I thought she was the vendor we bought it from before, but she wasn't. I made a mistake. But she's like, I don't even know what language she's, I don't know what her accent was. It wasn't, American. It was like some dialect, European dialect. And she's like, like she had marshmallows in her mouth or something. I'm like, a lot of these people, my point is, they can't talk to people. Yet they all say, oh, I'm trying to find a way to quit my day job so I don't have to go back in the office and I can just sell my honey or my cookies or my paper mache dolls or whatever shit they're selling. But these people can't speak. They have no personality. They have no social graces. They have nothing. And then there's another guy who's like the soup Nazi. He's just got all this personality. He's so over the top of personality. I avoid him. We bought stuff from him once before, and it was okay. But he's like, hey, come get my shit. Come get my shit. Come get my shit. Ho, 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 hey. Step right up. I'm like, dude, nobody has any ability to gauge when to cool it down, when to pick it up. When I go to these art shows, I go to these art festivals. I'm going to a couple this summer. You go and you have to talk to people. People walk near your tent. They're like, hey, I like that picture, Is that a picture of a mule's ass or what, man? No, that's the Terminal Tower in Cleveland. Oh, yeah, I knew that. I was just kidding with you, buddy. And they say weird shit. And these people come into your tent and they have the balls to say some really weird shit about your work. Oh, I know. They don't know I'm the artist. This one guy's like, hey, I know this guy took this picture. He took a spray bottle with water and he sprayed it on a piece of metal and he snapped a picture of it. Plain and simple. Oh, really? I said, that's not how I did it. And he stopped and he looked at me like, oh, you're the photographer? I'm like, yeah. I just snapped that in the morning. It's morning dew on a skateboard rail down south of here. And he went, oh, he just walked away from me. It's like, people are assholes. And this is why I think they are. This is why I think they are. Okay. I think people are assholes now because the thin veneer is being pulled away from the lie that is America, and the citizens of this country are starting to see that it's a lie, and they know it's a lie, and they know they've been lied to from the moment their sweet mama pushed them out from in between her legs, and started filling their heads with fairy tales and bullshit about happily ever after, and Santa Claus is coming, and there's magical man in the clouds watching over your every move, yada, yada, yada. And then they wake up and they go, you know what? This is all bullshit. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to be an asshole. I'm going to act any way I like. And that's all there is to it. And I think people are finally waking up to it, and they can't deal with it. Most people can't deal with the truth. They can't deal with it. They've been lied to. They can't deal with it. Their government's corrupt. They can't deal with it. Their government's $21 trillion in debt because they're funding transgender weddings in Swahili or in Huasmangastan. They can't, oh my God, I can't deal with it. And they're losing it. I think people are losing it and they're becoming nuts. And I think social media has a lot to do with it. This platform has a lot to do with it. All the social media platforms are corrupt and crooked. They're designed just to take your time, to rape you of your life, rape you of your mind, your emotions, to just to fuck with you bad. And I've deleted from my phone. I've deleted all my stuff. I'm rarely on TikTok. I'm rarely on Facebook. I'm never on X. I'm never on. Well, I'm occasionally on Instagram, but it's all a waste of time. And I'm not on here very much anymore. I know a lot of you love what I do on here, but YouTube is taking it to me bad. And it's all because I just speak the truth, and the truth doesn't pay. I just saw some things today. I saw some generous people and nice people too. So it was kind of 50-50. But the point is that some of you who are younger don't know that back in the day, there were a lot of caring, nice people, especially here in the Midwest. People were genuinely nice and they cared about you. I grew up in a small town, literally like Mayberry. We had our crazy stuff going on. We had some odd people, but you could leave your doors unlocked at night. You could leave the windows open. Nobody crawled in and stole your stuff. Nothing like that happened. Now I go to the same town and I can't even walk through my old playground of my elementary school without some crazy old bitch coming up to me asking me can I help you, sir? What is that? What do I look like a guy that's gonna, I'm walking through a crowded playground. There's several police officers and firemen. I guess I'm there. I'm up to no good. I can't even walk through the playground of my elementary school, guys. I couldn't even go near the grounds when the school's in session because my town had a shooting 13 years ago in the high school and killed 3 kids. So now the entire town is paranoid as fuck, and they think everybody's a bad guy. Even though I went to high school with the chief of police, even though he would know me, and if I wanted to raise a stink, I could probably call him and say, hey, what was that all about? And I don't know if he would take, the civilian side of it with me, or he would take the chief of police side of it with probably the chief side. So I didn't want to go down that road with him because if I ever need him on my side, he's known me since like kindergarten. I played football with him for about a cup of coffee. He played football all 4 years. I only played for a little bit. He bought a puppy from my uncle. His dad did. But the world has changed and everybody's paranoid and scared and mean and nasty. I don't get it. And drivers, I don't know what happened to drivers. Does anybody out there understand that if you are driving down the road and there's a service truck parked in your lane like an Amazon truck, that you have to yield the right of way to the oncoming traffic? You do not have the right of way. You have the obstruction. It is your duty and your responsibility to stay put either until that truck moves or the lane of oncoming traffic is clear before you can go around that truck. It's pretty common sense. It's pretty understandable. It's a pretty straightforward thing you learn in driver's ed. I learned to drive 45 years ago, and I remember that. So today we're driving down this back road coming back from the farmer's market, and there's a mover's truck, a guy delivering couches or something in the oncoming lane, two-lane road, country road. And I'm approaching the truck at approximately 35 miles an hour. And the cars coming towards me have decided that they've got the right of way. And I'm about 30 feet from the front bumper of this truck, and this guy tries to get around the truck, and he just barely misses me, and I give him the double bird. I give him 2 birds. I had to slam on the brakes and give him 2 birds, which made me feel good. Didn't really prove anything. But what is this guy thinking? He's not. No one thinks. You've got the obstruction in your lane. What makes you think you're Mario Andretti or whoever the current race car drivers are, and you've got 400 horsepower under the hood, and you can get around that truck as quick as he did in his little Honda CRV or whatever it was? And I'm like, what are you doing? It could have been a serious accident just because this guy was in a hurry to get down the street and buy his Marlboro Reds and a 6-pack of Busch Light. Has everybody just lost it? Have you all lost your minds? Okay, we know the truth. We know our government's corrupt. It's always been corrupt. We know the truth, but a lot of things now. You don't need them to release the files on JFK to realize that our government had him killed. You don't need documents to prove that 9/11 was an inside job. You don't need all that stuff. You know Vietnam was a lie. We all know it's a lie. Take that in, digest it, and go on with your life and make it a better world. Let's be better to each other. No, 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 no. Everybody decided just to be a dick. My point is, in the old days, there were people who genuinely cared. There were people that would stop by the house when my mother was sick and check on my mother. Strangers that lived on the street. Not strangers, complete strangers, neighbors, but not people we generally had in the house. But they heard she was sick. They came up and said, hey, want to talk to your mom for a second and pray with her. What happened, everybody? The thing that I've been preaching on this channel, indirectly, is all we have is each other. We have become a commodity. We have become a product that they buy and sell and rape and trade left and right. And none of you want to believe it, but it hurts when you find out that they are using us and they're bending us over and they're doing us up the backside as hard as they possibly can because they don't care. And as long as they keep us divided, as long as they keep us angry, as long as they keep taking advantage of us, and we don't fight back, it's just going to get worse. And I see it every single day, everywhere I go. It doesn't matter where I go. I go into the local drugstore the other day to go buy a couple of things for my wife and I. And every register has people at it. There's like 4 registers. And the customer service counter has the manager, and the manager's like 70 years old. And he yells at the top of his lungs, somebody's got to take a break now. If you don't take a break now, and like, take a break? You've got a crowd at all the registers. Why would you tell them to take a break now? And I don't know if it's union regs or whatever. I don't know. This guy was an a-hole. There's no reason he's got to yell that out above the din of all of us standing here with our groceries. No comments. This is a grown-ass man. This is a 70, 75-year-old man who's somehow been promoted to manager of the whole drugstore. It's different now. You would just have to have been alive. Like when I was a kid, my family was poor. We were living on food stamps and had hardly any food in the fridge. And I had 2 addicted parents, 2 alcoholic parents. My mother sobered up. My father, I don't think ever did. And there were people that would stop by to check on us in the neighborhood, you know? Our Thanksgiving dinner was delivered to us by the welfare people. And they brought us a turkey in a box with some canned yams and stuff because we couldn't afford to go get turkey. I don't know how they found out about us. I don't know how they knew, but they just showed up. Nowadays, I don't even know if that exists. I don't know. It's been a long time since we were that poor. It's been more than 50 years. People are homeless of all walks of life now. All races, creeds, and colors and religions. It doesn't matter what background you come from. People are living in their cars. They're living in vans. They can't find work. And yet, we all sit back and go, oh, how dare that guy stand at the exit on the freeway and beg for money. Of course, most of them, we don't even know if they're really homeless. A lot of these people are just collecting change and they've got a day job. But we just sit back in our plush houses. Well, these people, they just need to get jobs. This has been common, but now homelessness is rampant across the country. I mean, there was very rarely you saw homeless people like everywhere. I mean, I remember the most homeless people I ever saw in my life was in San Diego in the 80s. I was in San Diego at some bay or dock. I don't know where we were. Homeless people everywhere. Then the next place I saw was I moved to Phoenix. There are homeless people all over Phoenix. But now you move back here to Cleveland, there were never any homeless people in the suburbs in Cleveland. There were a few, but now they're everywhere. They're a lot of the on and off ramps. They're living in the woods. There's a homeless encampment just on the east side of Cleveland at like the 71 exit off of like some part of downtown Cleveland. They live in the circular loop where everybody gets, they have a whole encampment. It's like a shantyville. And nobody talks about it on the news. Nobody talks about it. Trump gets a $600 million Air Force One from the Saudis. And shit, sell the goddamn plane and build some homes for people. No, 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 no. We're not going to do that. No. We got to reinforce the Air Force One and put more military out there, and we'll pass an executive order to making it a better military. Our military is very important now that we now have 1,000 bases around the world, more than any other country in the world. But that's just to protect us. It's just to protect us, people. Just to keep we're the good guys with the white hats and the white horses galloping down from the mountaintop to save you. And I had to get it off my head, off my mind. I'm tired of all this crap down here. I mean, my mom, near the end of her life, she said, I think hell is right here on earth. And she had seen everybody walk out on her. A lousy husband who was a drunk. She got sober. She got her life together. And everyone but me walked out on her. They all stopped talking to her because she was a crazy bitch, I guess. And she could be. She could be a raving lunatic at times and say, be very mean. But some of the things she was mean about was very true. And I guess everybody else just went on their lives, went off their happy lives, and just, so what? I got my life, got my house, got my job, got my kids. Bye, Mom. You're too much of a crazy bitch for me. I'm going to save myself. And I don't get it anymore. People, I think what it is, if you want to be biblical about this, you know, there's an evil out there. There's an evil thing. There's greed and lust and self-indulgence that's taken over. Now everybody, myself included, on this little platform, we all think we're superstars. We got our 15 minutes. We want our $100,000 a week. We want to be famous. We want girls that are beck and call. We want guys that are beck and call. Women think they're powerful. Boys think they're girls. Girls think they're boys. You know, it's like, what? Cats think they're dogs. Dogs think they're giraffes. And nobody goes, well, this is kind of weird. Isn't this all kind of weird down here? And they're perpetuating it. They're pushing it. Doesn't anybody go, hey, how come we're all fighting amongst ourselves, but the government's taking all of our money through taxes and sending men to wars that we don't want to be in? And, oh no, let me go back to fight with my neighbor because he cut my grass a little bit too short. And even though he didn't ask me to do it, and he did it just to be nice. There's people around here that get mad if you cut their grass. You know, okay, I won't fucking bother. You know, don't shove my driveway. I'll do it myself. I do it better than you. Okay. They got us at each other's throats. They've got blacks hating whites still, whites hating blacks, Jews against Palestinians. They've got us all each other, Russians and Ukrainians and lions and tigers and bears. They got us all fighting and bitching and moaning and shooting and smacking each other around while the governments of the world are running around on pedophile islands and trafficking young kids and having leather mistresses and doing whatever evil deeds they want to do while we're all sitting here just fighting amongst ourselves. We've got to wake up. It's almost too late, guys. People can't find work. People with better degrees than I've got, with better minds than I've got, can't find anything. There's nothing out there. The government's $21 trillion in debt. Where did all the money go? Don't any of you go, wait a minute, where did all that money go? Well, you have to understand, Pete, we've got a military to run and Joe Biden's cocaine habit. And, I didn't say that. It's not Joe Biden's. It's his son. What was his name? Hunter? Is it Hunter? Oh, no, that we wouldn't dare put the money up. Oh, and you know, they've all got an answer for everything. They're all full of it. It doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican or Independent or Trump or Biden. They're all fucking crazy. And they don't care about you. When Trump is taking money, he's taking it from one hand and putting it into the other. I don't know. I'm crazy. I'm losing a little bit because I can't stand to go outside the house anymore. I dread getting in my car. This all started in Phoenix because the people in Phoenix were just razor-toothed, nasty fuckers. Every single last person that I ran into that I didn't know a little bit, just a bunch of idiots, and I hated going out in Phoenix. I hated getting my car. I hated the traffic. I hated the heat. And it's the same way here now. I love the weather here, and I love the overall atmosphere of the Midwest, but people now are just crazy. You know, I saw a guy in the drugstore the other day, grown man, probably my age in his late 50s, walk into the drugstore and stand in front of the exit door, wondering why it wouldn't open. He stood there. I'm trying to leave. I'm standing there about 20 feet from the door looking at him because I know he's about to try to come in through the outdoor, which won't open from the other side because there's no sensor because it's the exit. He stood there. Huh. I wonder why I won't open. Huh. And then he went, oh. And he realized he was a dumbass, and he finally turned around and went through the entrance door. Oh, gee, I wonder why it says exit only. I wonder what that means. That must be Latin. Must be like I'm a Catholic Mass again. Imagine that, Catholic Mass in a drugstore. Oh my God. I don't know. I've got a doctor. I'm supposed to go for a procedure in June, an operation on me. So I have a final counseling session, a Zoom call with my doctor. And I'm asking him questions about this, that. You can tell he gets frustrated. He's got his glasses on. This is a doctor, a fairly respected doctor at the Cleveland Clinic. And I'm asking him questions about aches and pains and things that concerns about the procedure. And he goes, oh, no, that's not your kidneys. No, that's probably just a back problem. You know, you're gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. Like, dude, this guy is gonna be cutting me. He's not gonna be cutting me open, but he's gonna be doing a procedure on me. I'm like, do I really want this guy working on me? But I'm at a place now where I have no choice. I have to have this procedure. I have to have it. And I've gone through 5 urologists now. This is a urological thing. He'll be like the 5th urologist I've seen because they're all, don't get me started on urologists. I think these guys got through med school and they said, hey, just kind of like when I got through 2 years of art school, the teaching assistant or the, what do you call the academic advisor meets with you and reviews your portfolio and tells you you basically have 2 choices. You can become a teacher or work at Kinko's. I think they sit down with med students and go, okay, you got a couple of choices. You can be a proctologist or a urologist. Which one do you want? Because your grades aren't good enough to be a brain surgeon or a heart doctor. This guy has the bedside manner of, you know, like a cat that's, you know, been outside too long or in the rain or something. You know, he's just really irritable. And I've seen that side of him a couple of times. But fortunately, this guy he's been straight with me. He said, you got to do this. This is what's going to happen. If you don't do this, you're going to die. Your kidneys are going to shut down. You're going to die of renal failure. And I've looked it all up, and sure enough, he's right. He goes, you're at this place in your life where you got to make a decision. If you keep going like you're going. So out of the respect of that straightforwardness, I'm willing to work with him because he's right. No one else, none of these other urologists wanted to say that to me. They just wanted me to get a biopsy. They steered me away from MRIs. This guy said, you know, we're going to look at your bladder. We're going to do this. We're going to do all these other things first to see if this is the right choice. He said, yep, you're going down the right path. Let's do it. But even doctors today, they're rude and they're insensitive and not compassionate. And that's not a new thing. Like I had a doctor when I was a little kid. And Dr. Lee, she was a mean old bitch, mean old Chinese doctor. And I just despised, I was a little kid and I hated this woman. I couldn't stand the sight of her. She's a mean old Chinese lady. But I bet you she was documented. So, guys, we got to be good to each other. That's all we have. They don't want us to be good to each other. They don't want us to know that the most important resource in this country is not gold and copper and uranium and lithium and iPhones. It's you and me. And they're proud of the fact that they've got us at each other's throats. They're very proud of it because it keeps us distracted, it keeps us scared, it keeps us addicted, it keeps us trying to buy more junk, it keeps us buying more booze and cigarettes and vape pens. It's all designed to keep the economy going by us buying junk that none of us need. I've got a studio full of it, all put on this platform. So I thought I could make money. So I thought I could make $100,000 a year, and I'm never going to make it on here. They have decided that truth doesn't sell. The advertisers run the show. End of story. If you're a truther, you're not going to make it on here. And if you do start making money, they'll shut you down and ban you. They'll block your channel if you get too close to the truth. So from this point forward, I'm not monetizing my videos. This one's not monetized. I'm not monetizing any of my stuff, other stuff, because they don't make enough money to make a difference. I make $60 a month. I was making 150, and they've taken that all away from me. Why, I don't know. Because the advertisers probably say, hey, somehow they get a report. Here's where some of your money is going. Here's where some of your ads are being played. Somebody somewhere sees it and goes, you know what, this guy doesn't like corporate America. He doesn't like college. He doesn't like call centers. We don't want our stuff on his channel. I don't know. There's too many channels for anybody to break it down like that. There's too many millions and millions of creators. But screw it. If you're not going to pay me, I don't care. If it's $60 a month, that doesn't even fill 2 tanks of gas. Maybe 1. It doesn't do anything. We couldn't even buy groceries with $60. $60, you can buy maybe a couple cartons of eggs with that. What do you get, 10 cartons of eggs? Not even 10. You maybe get 6. I don't know, man. So I'm sitting here watching some thing about World War II. That's another thing. Will they ever just let World War II go? Why do they talk about this war so much? I mean, my God. The Japanese suffered. We pulverized that country. And now they keep building it up like these horrible Japanese people, just like these poor Germans. Germans that have been around, were born during the war, had nothing to do with war, are still carrying the weight of what, Adolf did. Can we just let it go? No, we can't let it go. What they did to these people will never be forgotten. No. I don't know. On the TV constantly, it's constant World War II, World War II, World War II, World War II. Right now, it's little Japanese guys hiding in the jungles of Guam or something. I don't know where they are now. This is the History Channel. Yeah, they should call it the History Channel back in the day. Should have been called the Hitler Channel. Because every night it was another thing about Hitler. Like, okay, we know he was a bad dude. He did some crazy stuff. Can we kind of move on with our lives now? Anyway, guys, I'm going to sign off. I really do hope you all have a good weekend. Be good to each other. Please be good to each other. And please try to just see beyond. Cancel your social media accounts. Get out of Facebook and X. Get out of all this stuff. Stop watching your TV. I put this on just to light the screen. I never watch TV. My wife watches it. And I watch a couple shows with her. Be good to each other. Stop all this crap. Stop it all. You'll be happier. You'll be healthier. You'll be more focused. And maybe you'll find out you actually like your wife or your kids or your dog or your cat, and you start paying attention to them again. All right, guys. Have a good night.